This is Sean. Hi. Oh yeah. It's like a silver loop. Tommy, how are you?
Well, this summer we got listed on the state's it would just be easier that
he was supposed to coach me back then.
What's this table about?
This table is Sneakers for Success. It's tennis shoes that will stay in the Sheridan School District, with elementary and high school. Our goal is 50 new pairs of shoes to be able to distribute in all the schools.
Looks like the second deadline.
Yep. So we'll do the shopping holidays so they can pick up an extra pair of shoes to drop them off.
These are actually some great shoes.
Yeah. Big sizes too for our high schoolers.
You might consider an ED. Do you have any questions?
All right, hi everybody. Sorry, that was way louder than I thought. I'll make sure I move it away from my face a little bit. Sorry. All right. Well, hello everybody. My name is Dale George. I'm the mayor of Sheridan. I'd like to thank everybody for coming to learn about what we have going on in Sheridan. I'd like to start this town hall with a State of the City address, where I'll just highlight some of the work being done in town and provide some information on projects the city's working on. So, all right, first up, so the recycling center on Sheridan Road is now open 7 days a week from 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. This is not a place to dump garbage, it's only for recyclable material. The city is hopeful that we'll be able to find a more sustainable staffing solution, and hopefully we can work with ecology on a possible solution. Several of our roads in town were recently chip sealed. Public Works continues to repair water leaks throughout the city. If you have a water leak or any water, sewer, storm water emergency, please contact Whitecom. The Southside Park has seen massive improvements. It has a play structure, covered picnic shelter, paved ADA walking trail that's about a quarter-mile long, and a fish pond. More improvements are coming through fall 2025 and are funded through a grant from the Oregon State Parks. Other parks will be getting work done in the coming year, including the Hebert Plaza, the City Park, and there will be a dog park at the east end of Jefferson Street, thanks to a partnership with the school district. The city is working collaboratively with the National Park Service to develop a river access trail on the Yamhill River, and there's actually a table here to explain more about that project. The city is partnering with Willowmina and Amity on a drinking water source protection grant, and this will look at the Yamhill River and to determine if there's any potential contamination sources in the river. Okay, Stony Mountain Reservoir. So for those who don't know, this is a 60 million gallon water reservoir. Sorry, 60 million gallon water reservoir that the city has. It was completed in 2009, but never connected to our water system. With our water master plan being nearly complete, I now have an estimate of how much it will cost to connect it to our water system. And that means that I can start asking for federal funding from, well, the federal government and then also state funding. Once the reservoir is connected to our water system, it will greatly reduce the amount of water that we'll need to pull from the Yamhill River. I want to thank the Sheriff's Office for selecting the City of Sheridan to do a Coffee with a Cop a few weeks ago, and to thank the Sheridan Museum for hosting that event. I also wanted to share that the Sheriff and I are looking into ways to add a 4th Sheriff's Deputy at Sheridan, which is much needed. The Housing Task Force had its last meeting on April 17th. We have copies of the Housing Task Force report on the council table over there, if you're interested in reading it. The expected outcomes of this project were to partner with Yamhill County service providers, nonprofits, and other organizations to complete a plan to improve resource access for Sheridan residents through education about available services, assisting with paperwork, arranging appointments in McMinnville, and advising of available transportation. I'll read the recommendations list that's in the task force report itself. The task force believes there is value in reconvening the task force after an intermission to help support Sheridan in meeting the needs of the community. The task can include continuing to provide support for the town hall meeting and outcomes as a result from the town hall meeting or subsequent similar meetings, evaluating an expansion of adding partners to the Provoking Hope staff to help expand services available in our community, evaluating the feasibility of providing more facilities to help meet the needs of the unhoused, other tasks that the council deem appropriate. It is also recommended that the council engage in meaningful discussion to prepare clear written direction for the task force to facilitate their work in support of the council's objectives and mission. It is also recommended that the council evaluate what additional support the city can provide to the task force, both in staff support time and financial support. These recommendations would best be accomplished with close coordination between City Council and the City Manager, who can coordinate with the task force members to help ensure that the objectives are met. All right. In the next few weeks, the city will have a new city logo contest where people can submit ideas for a new city logo. I'm looking forward to reviewing people's ideas and artwork. Look for more information on this in the coming weeks. The City of Sheridan has a shoe drive going on right now, and you can come and donate shoes for kids at City Hall or any First Federal. We're gathering shoe sizes for kids grades K through 12. The Hyder and Huntley building are both for sale, and I've been looking for interested buyers and connecting them with the realtor. Both properties have a lot of potential, and I'm hoping that whoever purchases them will transform them into a great place to have a business. I was just at the Huntley building the other day, and I hadn't been in there. I don't know if I've actually ever been in there, but it's a huge building, and I hope someone can take it over and turn it into something great. There will be a Virginia Garcia clinic opening in the spring of 2025 on Jefferson Street. They recently received a grant from the YCCO to help support opening of the clinic. The library recently received a YCCO grant for $2,497 to help support a pre-K reading program. The library was closed for 5 days pending an investigation by the Yamhill County Sheriff's Office. The day the library reopened, though, they had over 100 holds for books, which highlights how much the library is used here in Sheridan. The library also offers many different programs each month and always has story time on Fridays. There are also computers available for anyone to use at the library as well. This week, the city was awarded a grant from the state for over $200,000 to complete a transportation system plan. The last time the city completed a transportation plan was 1999, so this is long overdue. This project will happen over the course of the next 18 months. The Planning Commission recently approved a new 117-home subdivision off of Viola Street. There are also plans for a new apartment building off of Sheridan Road, right behind Davidson's. That's expected to be underway in the next 6 months. And there's also a new manufactured home court off of Sheridan Road coming soon. Council completed a strategic plan in March. You can find it on the city's website. One of the top priorities of the council is economic development and to recruit new businesses. And part of that plan to recruit businesses is working with SEDCOR, which brings me to our industrial lands project. The city of Sheridan has a large area of the city zone for industrial. We do not have many industrial businesses in that industrial zone, and we have started working with SEDCOR to determine the best use of that space. So I'm going to invite Abisha Stone up here to talk a little bit more about that project.
Thank you, Mayor. Good evening, everybody. It's good to see so many folks here and a lot of familiar faces and a lot of new faces. So, excuse me, as Mayor George expressed, we're currently working with the City of Sheridan on an industrial lands project, and I'm going to try to explain what that's going to look like. Can you go back one slide? Oh, no. He's giving away all my secrets. I'll start by explaining, again, my name is Abisha Stone and I work for SEDCOR, which stands for Strategic Economic Development Corporation. We're a regional organization that serves Marion, Polk, and Yamaha counties. We're one of 4 regional organizations in the state that provide support for traded sector business development specifically. We are structured as a 501c6 nonprofit organization, so I do not work for the state. People often get confused by that. And we are an independent organization that's been doing this work since 1982. And we do have a vision. We know that healthy communities are built on a foundation of healthy businesses providing healthy jobs to the residents and then providing for a strong tax base for the community. So we are structured again much like a chamber of commerce, but we focus mostly on manufacturing and agriculture. So anybody that produces a product that's sold on a larger domestic or global marketplace, because those folks are bringing money into the community. They often are investing in buildings and large equipment and tend to pay family wage jobs. So that's why that's our area of focus. So what is an industrial lands project? We've done this work throughout the region in the past, and essentially it's partnering with a city like Sheridan to say, where are your opportunities for building out industrial land to encourage traded sector businesses to come into the community and to encourage local entrepreneurs to start up within their community and encourage existing business owners to be able to grow within their community. We get a lot of credit for the work that we do recruiting businesses into new communities, but that's a very small amount of work that we do. It's maybe 5% of our time. The majority of our work is to work with existing businesses within communities, making sure that they have access to the resources that are available to them so that they can continue to grow and stay in our communities and invest in our communities and hire our kiddos so that they stay in our communities. So in that, we identify partners like the City of Sheridan that feel that they have opportunities to grow their industrial lands. And then we work through sort of a phase process. So I try to put it in simple terms here. This is really like a 3-phase process. The first thing we do is assess the current and planned inventory of industrial land. So what do you currently have in your community? What is the community planning for? So what's City Council thinking about when they're considering urban growth boundary adjustments or annexing property into the city? And the assessment also looks at what's the current use? What's the accessibility in terms of transportation? What's the current utility service? Things like that, so that we can identify the best opportunity for the community. We work with local landowners, business owners, the city, the county, and the state to identify resources for those lands. So for example, maybe you have a landowner who really is prepared to sell that land, and the city thinks, hey, that might be a good piece of land for X type of business. But maybe the transportation to and from the highway from that piece of land isn't that good. Well, part of the work the city would have to do is a transportation plan to consider how they might make that land accessible. So a lot of this is assessing what's the current situation, where are we now, where do we want to go, and how do we get there? And that work is done in partnership with all of you in this room. Then the last part is essentially based on all of that information to make recommendations for the best and highest use of that property. Again, this is done in partnership with the landowners, with the business owners, with the city, but considering all of those things we just talked about. So you're probably saying, well, where's the industrial land in Sheridan? Or you're probably saying, I know exactly where the industrial land in Sheridan is. Essentially, I know probably some of you can't see this, but it is the gray areas, right? So where the green arrows are pointing to, it's kind of spread out from those. But essentially, those gray areas are your current industrial lands. And you'll look and see, oh, hey, I know somebody that lives over there. I know somebody that has a business over there. That's wonderful, because I'd really love to talk to those folks and understand what they're doing with their land, what they'd like to do with their land, or if they have ideas or suggestions or concerns as we're considering what the recommendation should look like. I do have a booth over here, right next to the counselor table, and I have a little sign-up sheet. So as you're walking around this event, if you feel like you would like to connect with me so that we can have those conversations, please put your name on that sheet, and I'd love to follow up with you at some point, or catch me today and we can have those conversations. But this is where we'll essentially be focusing. Of course, since we're looking and talking about businesses and we're talking about resources, I will also be partnering with the Chamber of Commerce and Rotary and your downtown folks to talk about how could we sort of dual path some of this work with the commercial and retail development that's being planned in the community. Because sometimes when you're talking about future planning or seeking grants from the county or the state, it's really valuable to make sure that you're considering all parts of business, right? And all parts of business growth within the community. So here's just a little comment from one of the businesses that we worked with. Sometimes people get confused, right, about what is the work that you do, Abhishek? I do not understand this traded sector, business development, and how that works with economic development. I think I took that quote straight from my mom, who is constantly asking me, I don't understand. So here's an example. We worked with DCI in Newburgh. Some of you might be familiar with the fact that we have some very large dental equipment and operatory manufacturers in the area. Newburgh is a hub. It's actually one of the largest hubs in the world for dental equipment and operatory manufacturing. And John Spencer is the CEO and founder of DCI. This is a quote that he offered us. They were really struggling, and this quote comes from the period during COVID with workforce. They were really struggling with expanding their facility. They were struggling with supply chain issues. SEDCOR plays a role in all of those issues. So we were actually, when it came to workforce during that period of time, were able to connect them with a local farm workers group who at the time was not in the fields and looking for off-season work for themselves, and got 25 people into their facility to help them meet orders by the end of their fiscal year so that they could achieve their financial goals. We also were able to help them identify commercial warehouse space. They had been looking up in the metro area because of transportation and location to I-5. We helped them find a facility in a really small community in North Marion County that completely met their needs, met the needs of that community, and provided for decent jobs in that community, working for a really good business. They actually increased their workforce coming out of the pandemic by 33%. And they are now the fastest growing business in their industry worldwide. Also, if any of you have ever heard me speak, I know some of you have heard me speak about the work that we've done to support childcare and housing. During this period of time, they became even more intimately familiar with the issues that their employees were facing. And they have since invested, not just from the business, but from the family directly, into a 100-spot childcare facility that they opened in McMinnville and helped to fund a grant program for community partners and residents who could not afford childcare. We worked with Sue Linzemeyer in the room here to make sure that we had a strong application process for vetting folks. We were able to work with the county to get a grant to seed that scholarship program. And that's what happens when partners like SEDCOR show up and support the businesses and support the communities. And just imagine how when you feel supported, you also want to give back. I look in the room, and definitely this room understands that because you're full of volunteer organizations and nonprofits. And that's how our business partners feel too, right? You're not going it alone. We are here to support you in this work. So I think that's the last slide, maybe the next one here. Here's my contact information. I also have some cards on the table if you want to grab those. But I do want to leave you with this sentiment. As we're doing this work with the city, it is to support their strategic plan in the area of economic development. All the work that we do will be to support what your community has decided that you would like to see in your community. And I'd like to be informed by you as to what you think that is. So if you have concerns, if you would like to contribute thought, please reach out to me and let me know. We'll be doing this work over the next 6 months. So please just reach out. And if you're a business owner, if you know you're in one of those gray areas, I will probably be contacting you, but if it doesn't feel timely to you, please give me a call. And I'm right over here if you have questions before you leave. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Abishai. Okay, so please stop by the counselor table. We're crammed in over there to let us know what's on your mind and ask any questions. You can also fill out one of our comment cards. I have copies of my mayor's survey for people who didn't get a chance to fill one out. And I also wanted to thank all the participants in the room for coming and giving their time to the town hall and willing to help our city and our residents. And thank you to all the city staff who have put this together. And thank you to our city councilors, planning commissioners, parks and recreation committee members, who all volunteer their time to help the city run. And make sure you visit every table because the one you missed might have the answer to your specific question. I want to thank everybody for coming out here tonight, and let's go ahead and start talking to people. So, thank you.